Hello Cloud Gurus, welcome to section 2 of our course. In this section we're going to do a 10,000 foot overview of all the different AWS services. But first we'll start, in this lecture we're going to start with just a short history of AWS. Now these points won't come up in the exam, but they're just there so that you have a good general knowledge of the AWS platform, and you can see how fast it's growing and why you want to get this certification, why it's important. So we'll start with a short history. In 2003, Chris Pinkman and Benjamin Black presented a paper on what Amazon's own internal infrastructure should look like. This was basically the internal infrastructure to stand up Amazon.com. They took this paper and took it to Jeff Bezos, who's the CEO and founder of Amazon, and they suggested selling their infrastructure as a service and prepared basically a business case. In 2004, they launched their first official service, which was SQS. However, it's important to realize that AWS itself wasn't officially launched until 2006. In 2007, 180,000 developers were on the platform, and basically you had the S3 platform, you had EC2, you had SQS, but only a few components. It doesn't look like how it looks today. It was still very small in terms of functionality. By 2010, all of Amazon.com had moved over onto the AWS platform, and in 2012, the first reInvent conference was held in Las Vegas. Now, you may remember in the previous section I mentioned reInvent. reInvent is basically AWS's flagship product launch conference. It's held in Las Vegas every year, and it's where they're going to basically give you the direction of what they're planning on for the next 12 months. In 2013, AWS launched the certifications. So there's two main certifications at the moment. There's the AWS Solutions Architect Associate qualification, and then there's the DevOps certificate. Once you've got your AWS Solutions Architect Associate qualification, you could also move on to do the AWS Solutions Architect Professional qualification. And if you have all three qualifications, you'll be highly placed to find a job within the IT industry. In 2014, AWS committed to achieve 100% renewable energy for its global footprint. So when you spin up an EC2 server, you'll be happy to know that that EC2 server will be running on a host that's powered by solar energy, by wind energy, by basically renewable energy. As to when they're going to try and achieve this by, at the moment the target date is 2020. Now, if we look at Gartner's Magic Quadrant, I don't know if you've seen this before, but in the managed hosting industry, everyone looks to Gartner to see what the big players are doing and how Gartner evaluates them. And in this example, there's 16 different providers, and you can see AWS is the clear leader and visionary. So if you look at your x-axis, it's about a completeness of vision, and then if you look at the y-axis of the graph, it's about your ability to execute. AWS has been the leader of the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for many years now. Rackspace were up there when I used to work for them, but now it's moved over to AWS. They're not closely followed, but they are followed by Microsoft. And then you've got things like Google and SoftLayer. Now, I mentioned in the introduction section, I think over the next few years there's going to be a major consolidation, and that businesses are going to go to 2, 3, or 4 different providers. And my prediction is it's going to be AWS primarily, followed by Microsoft, followed by IBM, and then followed by Google. So if you get the certifications as a solutions architect on the AWS platform, if you get the DevOps qualification for the AWS platform, it means you're going to be really employable, and that's why it's worth investing in doing this course and completing the course and going on to complete the exam. The qualification, as mentioned in the previous slide, was launched in 2013, so it's still very new, but I think it will become the industry benchmark as to the main industry IT qualification that you need to get to work in managed hosting. Okay, well that concludes this this lecture. If you have any free time, move on to the next one. In the next lecture, we're going to cover the AWS environment from a 10,000 foot overview. The slides will be quite long, so just bear that in mind. Thank you.